So for us, it is actually very exciting growth phase. We have hit EBITDA profitability. We have hit unit economics profitability. We are more demand than supply what we have got today. So as we speak, there are a lot of discussions happening where people are looking to give us money so that we can grow faster. We have a huge landscape in front of us with every transition becoming quick, and this whole phenomena of quick commerce from grocery to lifestyle product to electronics, all of these guys need some bike, and this is where Yulu comes into picture as a horizontal play. Anyone who needs to move around quickly can take Yulu bike in a hyper-local commerce manner.
Hi, wherever you're joining us, I hope you're doing well. Welcome to Tech Conversations, where we bring you insights from tech entrepreneurs, CXOs, and investors. I'm Hari Arakli, and in this episode, Amit Gupta, co-founder and CEO of Yulu Bikes, talks about the opportunity for his company to scale on the back of the rise in quick commerce in India's metros and large cities. Gupta also talks about the many lessons from having painstakingly built an asset-heavy business, an approach that's not the first preference of VC investors, to the point where the company turned EBITDA positive last year. Yulu's low-speed electric scooters are often the vehicle of choice for gig workers in the hyper-local delivery business today. And if a few things fall into place, including funding, Gupta expects the venture will be on track to go PAT positive as well. So Amit, thank you for doing this. Really appreciate it, and I'm really looking forward to getting you on video for the first time with me.
Thank you, Hari. Thank you for coming over. I know it means a lot. Reaching this area in the morning is no joke. So
yeah, I think
shows your commitment as well.
Something that's relevant to the work that you are doing and trying to get people to change their mobility habits as well. And as we go along, I'm sure we'll talk about that.
Certainly.
In the last 6 odd months, some really interesting and good positive milestones and developments at Yulu, including your company turning EBITDA positive, which I read in the news.
Yeah.
So very excited for you about that. So maybe we can start with you just walking us through some of the most important milestones and developments over the last 6-8 months, and then we'll go from there.
Certainly. So as you rightly mentioned, one of the big development in company's history, we're turning EBITDA profitable. So while in the past people thought that you turning profitable is not cool, it almost means that you have no way to grow. But we are a little bit old-fashioned, and we believe that a company which you are building for long term should generate profit sometime. And for us, it was linked to, you can say, a certain volume of vehicle, because that gives me a revenue which can take care of the overheads at the corporate level. So glad about hitting that milestone. Second thing, I would like to say that there's a humongous rise in quick commerce, and that has affected Yulu's journey very, very positively. So as you know, that a large part of our business, rather you can say, there are folks who are taking Yulu bikes to deliver food and grocery. And in the past, it was only food where there was certain use case. But when quick commerce happened, we saw there was a need of more delivery partners. And as you know, in India, not a lot of people have their own vehicle. In fact, only 15% people have their own vehicle in our country. So you have a scenario where you needed a lot of delivery partners. You need them to be moving in a 1.52 kilometer radius. Most of them not only don't have bike, but they also don't have financial inclusion. So they cannot go take a loan. And if they take a loan, it will be very expensive. And also they don't have driving license and many times a lot of other documents which you need. And that's where our product Yulu Dex became very, very popular, where it is almost like a zero friction service and product. One can walk in, get a bike in 5 minutes, and then start delivering for large companies like Zepto, Blinkit, etc.
Okay. For a more general audience, can you quickly walk us through the different lines of business at Yulu? I mean, a very quick recap for our audience. You separated out the battery side of things as a
Yeah.
battery as a service with Yuma, partnership with Magma, and you also have a consumer side of the business. Just give us a quick update on the different lines of business.
Sure. So if I look at our customer segments today, I would classify broadly into two buckets. There's a bucket of office or daily commuter. Uh, so we have a service where we have created thousands of zones in the city where we work with the city authorities. They give us spaces near public point of interest, and users will go pick up the bike, and they typically use it for 20 to 30 minutes and leave it next to their destination, again at a parking spot provided by Yulu. So it's almost like a service which you typically see in places like Paris, London, New York, San Francisco, where they have created a docking station. Same way, we have a Yulu Miracle service which people are using on a minute by minute basis. That service today is present in Delhi, but Bangalore, I would say, we are very large presence in for that particular service. That second service, which is started post COVID, which was not part of our original plan, at least doing it so early, was to provide our vehicle to gig workers who want to become a delivery partner for hyper local delivery. Today, that actually contributes to 90% plus of our revenue. So this has become a very large, sizable business for Yulu. And when we were starting this business, we realized the fact that these guys will be running the bike for multiple hours, multiple kilometers. Typically, they do 70 to 80 kilometers per day. And our current battery pack gives you 50 to 55 kilometer in a single swap. So where do they go when they need a battery swap? In my original version, my guy will come to Yulu zone, our parking space, flip the battery because bikes will be standing there. So we ended up building a network of battery swapping stations. So originally they were all owned, managed by Yulu. But when we saw the big picture, where every movement of people and goods in all of our cities will be electrified, so we saw an interesting opportunity that this whole battery swapping is not just relevant for Yulu, but it can be used or it will be used by many other companies, many other fleet providers, individuals, etc. And that led to we thinking about creating a horizontal business which happened to be Yuma, where we got Magna, who is a North America-based automobile component maker. They're third largest in the world with $40 billion in revenue. So they were very keen in doing something strategic in India. So they reached out to us. And then after we exchanging notes, sharing our vision and what this market can offer, they decided to create this JV with Yulu. So Yuma today is offering battery swapping service not only to Yulu, but also to other OEMs and other form factors. So they have two-wheelers, they have now e-rickshaws, battery swapping happening in North India, and very soon many other vehicles outside of Yulu you will see going to Yuma stations and get the battery swapping.
Okay. Can you give me a sort of a quick overview of Yulu Bikes operations today in terms of, I know in the past you've said you want to focus on density, you want to go pin code by pin code, but you also said that if you can hit maybe about 7-8 cities, then I think you'll have the scale to really build your business, be profitable and all of that.
Yeah.
Where are you at on that commercial journey?
Sure. So our operating model has not changed. In fact, from day one, we were always a one pin code at a time company, where the movement of people, where we'll create these Yulu zones in one pin code, dense, and then go to another pin code for more coverage. When we started doing even this, what we call goods mobility, which is giving our vehicles to the gig worker, that model has not changed. But today, instead of we making Yulu zones at a 300 meters distance, what we have to create is now two infrastructure. What we create is now Yulu Center, which is typically an area with 1500 to 2000 square feet area where our customers can go and they can pick up the bike. And when they're done with their rental period, sometime 2, 3, 4 weeks, they go back, give the bike. Sometimes they go to swap the bike if there's a problem with the bike, either reactive or preventive. And these centers, we have created a 5 kilometer density now. So every 5 kilometers in the city, we have this place called Yulu Center. The second infrastructure what we have made is Yuma station, which is for the battery swapping, and they are typically at a 2 kilometer density. So when user needs a battery swapping, which typically they need once or 1.5 times per day, they go there, get the battery swapping done. So even for the goods mobility business, our operation remain a Lego block of a pin code or two. So there is no change. And these Yulu centers, they also double up as a workshop. So, our bikes or any bike for that matter requires preventive or reactive maintenance. So these centers, not only they have a customer touch point, but they also have bunch of mechanics, people who go take care of the bikes as you go. And for the customers, they don't have to worry about the bike, they don't have to worry about the battery, they don't have to worry about repair maintenance and insurance. We give all of that as a bundle in our approximately 200 rupees per day pricing.
So with the gig workers side of the business contributing 90% of your
Correct.
revenue,
Yes.
would you say you've now kind of hit upon what you all would call product market
PMF.
fit? Yeah. Are you there, or do you think you've passed the product market fit thing and this is more of a business model tweak?
Yeah.
How do you look at it?
So for us, it is actually very exciting growth phase. We have hit EBITDA profitability. We have hit unit economics profitability. We are more demand than supply what we have got today. So as we speak, there are a lot of discussions happening where people are looking to give us money so that we can grow faster. We have a huge landscape in front of us, with every transition becoming quick, and this whole phenomena of quick commerce from grocery to lifestyle product to electronics, and God knows, like Urban Company announced 15 minutes maid service, right? So all of these guys need some bike, and this is where Yulu comes into picture as a horizontal play. Anyone who needs to move around quickly can take Yulu bike in a hyper-local commute manner.
What's the supply constraint that you're facing?
So supply constraint is actually not just one dimension. So for us, when we have to cater to more users, we have to, as I said, do three things. We have to create Yulu Center, we have to create Yuma stations, then we have to buy the bike. So it's a supply plus infrastructure, which you cannot just do like an Amazon cloud, where you just replicate 10,000 servers and just click of a button. When you are building a physical infrastructure, you have to make sure that they are being created properly at the right place with right all permissions being taken. So when you are building business for long, you don't take any shortcut. So when we go create, let's say, a Yuma station, there are 10 checklists, very important one, not the legal, but the safety part, customer accessibility part. It should not create any nuisance to the neighbors. It is allowed to be running for the time the business needs. So there's so many things which are non-trivial in India because our infrastructure, as you know, is evolving. So when you think about building anything for long term, then these are not easy challenges. And when we want to do things right, then it is not like you just wanna throw money. So sometimes money cannot buy it. You have to go systematically and do things.
Today, how many Yulu centers that is focused on gig workers? And how many Yuma stations? across?
Certainly. So we are operational in 4 cities now: Delhi, Bombay, Bangalore, and Hyderabad. Across all 4 cities, we have approximately 65 Yulu centers. And from a Yuma station perspective, we have close to 235 Yuma stations at the moment.
On a per city or even a per metro basis,
Yeah.
what would you like that density to be like, or even overall number of centers? Where would you like to go?
For these 4 cities, if I give you a broad level number, we believe that a city like Bangalore has got approximately 250K delivery workers who are involved in hyper-local delivery. They are either busy with food commerce, they are busy with quick commerce. And for the quick commerce, we actually see a good 30 to 50% market share. So today, 1/3 of all deliveries in Bangalore, quick commerce is happening on Yulu already as we speak. The same number for Mumbai is 30%. The same number for Delhi is only 10%. We have a huge headroom. Hyderabad, it is below 5%. So we see a huge headroom in all 4 markets. But to answer your question, So today, if you ask me, Bangalore has close to 18,000 vehicles which are involved with movement of goods. We think in next couple of years, this number can be very easily 40 to 50,000 with market expanding, use cases expanding and things like that. So put together, Bombay and Delhi are almost 2x in terms of the population of Bangalore, even if you don't do a double, but even 1.5. So across these four cities, we can very easily consume approximately 300k to 400k vehicles very easily.
I want to ask you about the products and platforms, especially in the context of quick commerce.
Yeah.
But before that, briefly, can you give us a sense of what were some of the things that you did that got you to EBITDA positive, unit economics positive?
Yeah. So it was very disciplined focus on not expanding without the depth of the market. So that is the one singular, responsible metrics for us. So many times what we have seen that many companies just go for growth at any cost. So for us, it was not the playbook. For us, it was the right density in a neighborhood before we actually open up the new warfront. And every new area requires as an upfront investment. And for us, it is not just the real estate, but also the people. So when you have opened a Yulu center, you also want to put a person out there, the mechanic out there. And if they're not running at the right capacity, then it will drain your profitability. So one playbook was you just go flood the market, carpet bomb, and don't worry about the utilization. Second way is that you still do like Lego block one or two Lego blocks at a time over multiple cities. By the way, this thing happening in parallel. It's not that everything is serial. We do have the strategy. So from our perspective, we kept things very, very tight. Now on the second side, if you ask me what are my two large cost items, number one cost item for my goods mobility business is repair and maintenance. Because this vehicle, when they're running for 2-3,000 kilometers per month, then you need to take care of that really, really well. So a vehicle which is designed for this use case, which is a very unique and first one in the country, I would say first one in the world. There's no vehicle designed for commercial use case, which is two wheels. Two wheels were made for you and I going to office, but to carry goods, there was no product. And then this product also has to be given to the stranger. This was never done before. And that's where a strategic partnership with Bajaj came very handy, where we told them that, hey, this is our requirement, this is our pain point. And rather than they copy pasting, saying that, okay, you take this product or that product, they said, no, we'll make it from grounds up. So it took 2.5 years for Bajaj to build this product for us from grounds up, solving that unique use case. Second one is that whole repair maintenance is also owned by Yulu. So we have a very unique strength to know what's going on with a vehicle. So we have a digital twin of a vehicle where we know that this vehicle number 1, 2, 3, what all spare parts got changed. We know what will go down. So we also have some predictive analytics to tell us that this product is nearing its life. So it's time for us to change. So rather than we reacting, we have now proactive measures. So we do a lot of preventive maintenance so that users never feel breakdown, or we at least try to reduce those instances wherever we can. So we have a systematic way to manage repair maintenance as a company. So to start with the right product, as I said, designed by Bajaj. Second thing, the technology part, which basically looks after a lot of preventive maintenance so that the cost of R&M goes down. And third thing, whole technology-led operation, which basically gives a lot of goodness and efficiency for this operation. So if vehicle is up and running, it gives me money. If vehicle is down for maintenance, that day I don't make money. So there's a direct correlation in my cost and my revenue in a bundle. There are not many businesses where your cost and revenue is so linked. So if your fleet health is not good, your revenue health will also not be good. So for us, it's a double kicker, both on a positive side and the negative side. The second big cost item for us is the energy cost, which we are today paying to Yuma. But for Yuma, the playbook is same. They also need a very dense operation. So rather than putting their stations everywhere in the city, everywhere in the country, they are also following a very scientific and data-led approach. Because our vehicles have GPS, we know their movement. We are able to pinpoint that at a very 100 meters accuracy, that this is where you should make the station. And they happen to be not too far from dark stores or next to the dark store or the places which has got a lot of restaurants. So we are able to create those heat maps of movement, and that's where Yuma will go create their Yuma station. So our data-led approach, very scientific, is basically helping us to reduce our cost and revenue. As you know, the 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 bad part is that it has to be linked with how much this gig worker will make. But the good part is that we have been able to find a good harmony between what Yulu needs to make versus what they can pay me. So there's a PMF, not only that vehicle can be used by the gig worker, but for me, PMF also means the financial viability of the business. And that is proven by we basically becoming unit economics positive. We're able to take care of our entire cost, entire amortized cost of the vehicle, the capex part, and our overhead, which is corporate. So that is the power of the business model.
I get that very specific numbers would be competitively sensitive.
Sure.
But can you give us a sense of today, what does it cost you to make, for example, a DEX?
Yeah.
And what are the different ways you're able to recover it, since you're now not depending on selling it, but you're depending on a subscription kind of model?
Sure. So we'll remain committed to not basically offering different type of price points, or you can say rental models. Let me not say price point, rental models. So there are folks who are becoming a full-time delivery partner. So they will use it for almost like 12 hours, 14 hours. But we also say those use cases where, let's say there's a security guard who works for 8-9 hour shift, and post that they want to become a delivery person for 3-4 hours. So we have been able to create those packs which can cater to a part-time gig worker or a full-time gig worker. We also see use cases where now, especially these hyper-local services business, their need is not even 70-80. They are full-time, but their need is only 30 to 40 kilometers because they move from building to building. For example, their company, who is using Yulu vehicles, they are only in car wash. There's a company who does the deep cleaning of bathroom, etc. So they have people on the bikes, but they don't have to carry, they don't have to go long. So our innovation is all about how can I give you the right price point, which works for you, works for me. Second one is we believe that there are evolutions in even form factors. So we basically have recently launched a mid-speed product where you can carry big packets, you can go long distance and things like that. So those innovations are also happening. But to answer your question, if I talk about Yulu Dex, the innovation is more about understanding the customer use case, and we coming out with a pricing plan that works for everyone.
Is there headroom on the utilization front on a per center basis? And typically, when you put a new scooter into the market for use, how long does it take for you to recover the cost? And then you make money on it.
Certainly. So for us today, vehicle life, just to give you a sense of how much it can do, we are looking at close to 70 to 75,000 kilometers of active life of this vehicle. There will be spare parts which will be changed. So I will have to change the tire, I will have to change the brake pads and things like that. But the more component, the critical component, which is chassis, motor controller, IoT, they will be good for 4 years, or equivalent of 70 to 75,000 kilometers. People have asked, from where do you get this number? How confident are we to hit those numbers? And all I will say that, we did not have any idea about electric mobility. But when we committed to this platform 6 years back, we knew that this is where things have to be made. So far we have done 3 generations of the bikes. Our first generation bike, which we imported from outside, it was not made for heavy commercial duty, we saw a good 40 to 45,000 kilometer distance covered by those vehicles. The second generation bike, which is a combination of some imported chassis, some kits, and half of the value chain happened in India by Bajaj, we are seeing some of the vehicles already completed 55 to 60,000 kilometers. Now the Bajaj made bike, made in India, made for India, based on the lab reports and some of the vehicles which they have been running for endurance for long term, we are able to predict of 70 to 75 kilometer distance very easily. And that translates to 4 year in our case. Now, this is an important matrix because if I just tell you the payback period, in isolation of what is the life of the asset, this number will make no sense. So I'm giving you that context first. Today, we are able to recover the asset life in close to 22 to 23 months as we speak. What we predict and project in next 2 years, this number will come down to below 1 year. So, and you will ask, where this goodness is coming. Goodness is coming in reduction of the price of the vehicle. So today we pay bit higher amount because this vehicle was made for Yulu exclusively. So there are a lot of upfront investment that has gone into that. With we buying more and more vehicle, the cost will get amortized. The initial, the cost will get amortized and we'll get it cheaper. Scale will also help you in getting the components cheaper. So that's another way. And then our operational efficiency, which is for every 1,000 kilometers, how much of R&M I'm actually spending, that number with operational efficiency will also go down. So when we put things together, we are able to see our payback period reducing from little less than 2 years to around 1 year in couple of years' time.
Okay. I was going to ask you about the mid-speed scooter. You just mentioned it. Can you tell us about it? Is it already in the market?
So it is practically, technically on the road. There are 50 users as we speak who are just circling around the city. So we are validating some 3-4 use cases as we speak. We saw that for the food business, while our product was very good for 5 kilometer distance, so in the context of Bangalore, Kormangla, Indranagar, in the context of Mumbai, Bandra, Andheri, lot of food order happens at that distance. But the moment you go to further, which are fringe areas, where there are not a lot of people living and there are a lot of restaurants in the same neighborhood, we see that there are distances which are 8, 9, 10 kilometers. That's where our product is not the best product. So till 5 kilometer, we see the delivery partner will make the maximum amount of net money in his pocket. But beyond that, things are like a little bit question mark. So if you ask me, when the gig worker is choosing Yulu, on what basis they are choosing Yulu? Yeah, maybe in the beginning, you may say that, yeah, he did not have a DL because he came from a small town or village. But is getting DL such a big deal? Answer is no. After some time or the other, after 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, he will get a DL. So what about that? I'm going to lose that user? Answer is not really, not because of that. So for us, DL, very low entry point, everything is just to reduce the friction for this. But going forward, users are continuing to using Yulu because it is giving them the most or maximum amount of payout, net payout in their pocket. So for food commerce, we saw this handicap. The second handicap we saw was in the e-commerce segment, where typically they don't do quick movement. They go in the morning to a warehouse or fulfillment center, as we say. They pick 20, 30, 40, packets, a big bag they have to carry. So again, it was not a right PMF for me. So for me, only single seater, there's not too much of space at the back, and that too, the payload for that matter. The third use case we are now seeing is a bike taxi. So as you know, lot of usage on the bike taxi also. In India, while there are states where it is legal, there are states which are still yet to become legal and whatever. But we believe that having a second person on the back is also a big use case for electric mobility. And last but not the least, there are cities where there's not flat. There's ups and downs. Case in point is Hyderabad. So Hyderabad, when we entered, we realized that the places like Jubilee Hills, Banjara Hills, which are very affluent neighborhoods, lot of hyperlocal delivery happens. But my Dex product is not suitable. And why? Because the legal requirement for us to be, considered as non-motorized transportation has three components: 25 kilometer per hour minimum maximum speed, the weight has to be 60 kilogram, and the third thing is a 250 watt average motor power over 30 minutes. So if you put all of that, you cannot create a legal vehicle for this kind of ups and down heavy use cases. So to consider all of that, we thought of introducing this vehicle called Yulu Express. And as we speak, these are being trial tested in Bangalore, and we are looking at scaling this business based on our learning. So plan is to scale it to 500 by next month, and then we basically take a call how quickly we want to expand that portfolio.
Just to stay on the point of scale, I know through previous conversations, if everything had worked out the way you wanted it, you would have wanted to see 100,000 vehicles already on
Yes.
the streets. What are some things, I wouldn't say delayed you, but probably changed the market for you? For example, I think quick commerce suddenly took off.
Yeah.
So where are you at today? And also, is 100,000 something that's sort of easy for people to kind of wrap their heads around, therefore it's a good number to talk about? Or is it also a point where you think you have sizable scale?
Sure. So very good point. And see, as an entrepreneur, we think adding a trailing zero. So the journey from 0 to 1, 1 to 10, no one say that, hey, you're going from 1 to 5. They say you're going 1 to 10 and 10 to 100. So that's how a mind of an entrepreneur works. We also know that what got us here will not take us to the next level. So you have to think very differently, be it organizational structure, operational structure, sometime business model. So see that 100,000 vehicles in that spirit, first of all. Although you will not reach 100,000 quickly, you will have to cross 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, and so on. That's where we are. So we are at 45,000 vehicles, and I'll tell you the reason why things got delayed. I'll just come to that. So we are at 45,000 vehicles mark today. By end of next quarter, this number will be very easily more than 50,000. And we believe that in next financial year, this number should cross 75 to 80,000. Why not 100,000? By when we will see 100,000 mark? Certainly next year. Which month? Question mark. So for us, the journey was not about that we ought to hit this 100,000. The journey was all about, can we hit profitability? Can we become PAT positive before going for hyperscale? As you know, our business model is not a darling business model for VCs. The moment you say, hey, you're in the business of mobility, people say, oh, asset heavy business. Like there's an Uber model, there's an Ola model, but we know what all has happened to that quote unquote zero asset models. They went nowhere. They've gone nowhere. We know our Indian counterpart, things are not very positive. Uber business model also being tweaked. When Namma Yatri came, entire business model got into question mark. So Rapido came. Rapido started offering a subscription-based product for the auto rickshaw. After Namma Yatri disrupted that, they started offering subscription model for car. I heard Ola announced they will do subscription model for car. Every company, Uber, Ola, Namma Yatri, Rapido, all of them is offering subscription-based product for auto rickshaw already. So I think different viewpoints. We believe that for you to create a product that works, we had to take this integrated approach, because when you are doing something, you have to build it. You cannot just do matchmaking in thin air. You understand my point? So if I am electrifying the mobility, I cannot wait for 10 years for people to have electric vehicles and then I do the matchmaking. If I am the builder of the ecosystem, I have to build the product, also put it up. I'm not just a matchmaker. So we took that difficult approach of building this up. and there are a lot of investors who love this because they believed it has to happen, and it will be happening only by this hard work. But then there are a lot of money, I would say, and no offense to anyone, because VCs are they don't have it's not their money, it's someone else's money, they're managing it. And we know that if you don't have to build the hard physical things, then the expansion is very fast. That's what the business model they excite about. So for us, it was not that money is being given in truckloads which you can just blow. Second thing, our own mindset, which never was all about growth at any cost. So yeah, I could have put 100,000 vehicle, but if you have asked me that, hey, what is the utilization rate, are you profitable, all of those questions, my answer would have been, oh, but look at my growth. So I would have shown you some vanity metrics and not too strong foundation. But today I can say with high confidence that we're sitting on a very strong base. We have more demand that we can supply, and business model is profitable. There's a leadership team who's very capable taking business to the next level. We have relationship Bajaj with Magna. All of that got groomed. So for us, the metrics and the success metrics, I would rather say, are those things rather than just saying that, hey, we have hit 100,000 vehicles mark. So this is my honest response to you. Why we got a little bit delayed. So when we launched in the third generation product, it required certain tweaks. So while with all right intention, right mindset, we put it up. We found out that these are the teething issues. And unlike software, where you launch the product and then it is a running train, you keep on making changes, you keep on adding features. More importantly, you keep on fixing bugs without a lot of cost or overheads. But on the hardware, if something is not right, then it is very expensive. So the recalls are very expensive. If you have to tweak something, it is very, very expensive. So you have to bring the bike, you don't make money, you incur cost. So everything just goes for a toss. So for us, when we find something, because Bajaj was running bunch of vehicles in trial mode. So there are things which we are expecting everything will be okay. But some of the vehicles, after they completed 30,000, 40,000, we started noticing that this is not okay, this is not okay. So instead of we saying let's just go all in, we said, okay, why don't we buy 5,000, not 10,000 vehicles per month? So this was a collective decision we took in the spirit of we not burning our money for the reason where we know it will not be a right financial decision. So this was my reason for that.
Give me one example, sir, of the kinds of hardware issues that you faced.
Sure. So I will not say hardware issue, but it is all about the life of the component. Because me saying that something was broken, that's not true. But you actually need something to be of X life.
Right.
So one of the big example I can give you is the conversion from solid tire to pneumatic tire. So when we started so just for the reference, our first generation, the second generation, we were using solid tires. And solid tires are the one where there is no tube, there is no pressure. It was okay for us. Why? Because it actually gives you a far lesser headache. You don't have to pump air, you don't have to worry about anything else. So there's no puncture, so you just keep on going. And we were getting certain type of life of the vehicle, life of the tire. We were kind of okay. But when we upgraded to the new Bajaj vehicle, strategically we basically put a little bit more strength to the vehicle. So my third generation vehicle is heavier by almost 8 to 9 kilogram from my second generation vehicle. The form factor, we chose everything. So what we saw was that, while solid tire is very, very good, but you know what, if we see the comfort part to the gig worker, we see the life of the tire, replacement cycle, etc. The TCO, the total cost of ownership equation, was far superior in the case of pneumatic tire. So while Bajaj team in the beginning they said, pneumatic tire based on our experience will be a better choice. But in our head, we were not very sure that how we will run, this pneumatic tire business in our fleet. And back then, we did not have Yulu centers. There were only Yulu zones where, like, we have only 2 or 3 workshops in the city, and there was no operational way to manage that show. So, and we also saw that when there were other companies running the shared mobility business in the past, which are no longer existing, by the way, they were using standard scooters with pneumatic tire, and we saw how much of abuse and misuse was happening with those scooters purely because of the pneumatic tires. So people would just drag it. They were, it was all. You will see. You will like feel very, very sad about it. So we noticed that, the cost of the replacement is of the solid tires is far more than what if we go ahead with a pneumatic tire which will offer 3x life than what a solid tire is doing. It will give me a better comfort. It will give me better durability and also the safety part. Across all these metrics, we were seeing pneumatic tire to be good. So there was a phase where we said, we have to change. And this change, once again, does not, nothing in hardware, by the way, happens overnight. We also found out, in the initial stage, the motor, because of the solid tire, was again getting far more vibration. So it was a motor created for uh, with some design principle in mind, but purely because of far more vibration. It also had to be upgraded and updated. So you keep on finding things, you keep on fixing, uh, and I would say that this is a cycle which happens every quarter. So we have done 4 sub version with Bajaj. So we are right now using 3.4 version. So we started with 3.0. Every version we were able to find something. Can we fix this? Can we make this better? So this is the journey with that.
Okay, I know I have to let you go very soon. I have 2 questions to wrap up. First one is, how often do you visit different Yulu centers, and what do you look for when you visit these centers?
Okay. So I am actually on the road almost every week,
That
and
must be tough.
across multiple cities.
Hmm.
Uh, when I go there, please don't laugh at me. First of all, I look for whatever does not require money, just the mindset, what is not there. So I look for garbage. I'm very upset when I see some garbage out there. I actually go visit the restroom. If it is not clean, then my in charge is in trouble. I look for the light. I talk to mechanics. I talk to customers. So this is my typical playbook. I look for hygiene, the way you are treating. In fact, when I'm there, yeah, customers will not be mistreated, but then you talk to them because they come at some frequency. So my questions would be, are you getting the right service? And what can we improve and things like that. And sometimes they will say that I've been waiting here for these many hours and I'm not getting in support. So when we created this Yulu centers, it was a big thing for us because early there was no face of Yulu for my customer. They will go pick up the bike in a faceless manner, go. But now with Yulu Center, they come, we interact with them. Not only Yulu centers, but I also go to Yuma stations. Yuma stations where they come every day. And there my questions would be, are you getting battery all the time? Is my guy, Yuma commander, is behaving well with you? And I'll do the same thing. If it is a big center, I'll look at the restroom. There's always a fire safety kits. So I'll check whether there's a water. I'll check for fire extinguisher when it was reviewed for safety. So Yuma stations, most of the time I will be safety first and will look at the service quality. My Yulu centers, I'll also talk to my mechanic, what type of issues are coming. I'll take pictures, a lot of pictures, by the way. I pass it on to my EV team that have you noticed that this is breaking or this is not looking correct. So I keep myself pretty grounded on that matter.
Okay, So last question is kind of a standard one. Over the next 12, 18 months, what would you say are your top priorities?
Sure. So for us, doubling or rather tripling down on quick commerce is very, very key. We are also looking at adding a couple of more cities outside of four. So we think by end of next year, Yulu will be live in 7 to 8 cities directly. And then you might have heard of our franchisee model, where someone else is buying our bikes, they run it using our technology and playbook. So we are already present in 5 cities. We believe this number will be 15 very easily. So end of 2026, over 18 months, if I can talk about that number. So directly 7 to 8 cities and very easily 15 plus cities with that model, doubling down on quick commerce as a use case. We're also looking at scaling Yulu Express, which is my mid-speed product, based on the learning. I cannot comment how quickly, but the moment we have our tick marks of product stability, market understanding, we'll scale that product also. So that's on the market side and the product side. On the vehicle count side, I think I hope next time when we meet on this milestone, uh, you will not hold me, but I believe we'll be crossing the 100,000 vehicles very, very easily based on the stability and the market growth potential what we are seeing. We're also looking to become PAT positive over next 18 months. So not only the EBITDA profitability, which is good, but the next big opportunity for us is to be PAT positive. And once we hit that, we prepare ourselves for the road to IPO, because by then we will be in a situation where we can we can say with high confidence that yeah, even if it is quote unquote asset heavy business, but a lot of my assets will be on lease financing, which is not sitting my books, will generate positive healthy margins, will demonstrate growth, which is also sitting on a good profitable matrix and foundation. So we see a world where it look far more like an institution rather than what we used to look like 3 4 years back, where there was a PMF but little bit PMF, not very big, scalable and solid profitability wise, organizational maturity, product maturity, acceptance of this business model. So across multiple vectors, I think we will look very different in 18 months from now. So that's the hope and the plan what we are working on right now.